Hello viewers and welcome! Now, Porsche Festival. Again, PSGL. It's gonna be very interesting race. Second race so we're basically halfway through the festival, whatever you wanna call it. It's really a short thing, it's not really long. Now, everyone's in a Porsche, obviously, starting P10. Lights out and away we go. For some reason, Porsche is one of the very few cars in Group 3 that does not have wheel spin on acceleration, so you can pretty much hammer it through. And you can see me just going up a couple position, or actually just one position, going on the brakes nice and tight, no accidents caused, just letting people slip, don't really want to cause too much mayhem. As a throwback to last race, which, yeah, let's not talk about that. Just going back into P10, I was actually P11, so that's one position made so far. And I've got a couple more positions to make if I want to win, but it's going to be very difficult with these drivers, because not only they are pretty much one of the best drivers in the world, they decided to change the qualifying format, which I was not informed about, and, had horrible qualifying. Due to me not actually qualifying, just setting some random lap, parking the car, and then, starting the race immediately. I was like, excuse me, where's qualifying? There was no qualifying. They took the times off the practice. Now going into pretty much my favorite sector of this track, you can see Donks, British driver, very laggy, so it's going to be very interesting trying to fight him through. You see right on his bumper, he stops lagging for a bit, and then as soon as there is a corner, he just starts lagging very much, and you can see, I didn't even see him, just lagged into me and just pushed off. It's really hard to fight with drivers who are lagging, because stuff like this could happen. Now, if he wasn't lagging, very sure it would have been very nice, but again, lagging left, right, left, right, left, right, impossible to do these overtakes, in very tight scenarios. So throwing it on the outside of another British driver, but it seems like he's outbraked me, or like lifted the brakes off a little bit just to make sure I don't take the outside. And I just, stick back and just follow him through the slipstream. Not really too worth it of a fight here, because there's drivers that are right behind us, less than a second away, that would have, made a big fight, because the more drivers fighting, obviously, the harder it is for it to be faster, because there's traffic. Now following the British driver through the slipstream, for some reason he has a slipstream of the driver up ahead, so I cannot really catch up to him as much. Or the difference, you can just see the difference just about at the end of the straight, which really was not long enough, so just sticking back, making sure nice and smooth, and hitting the curb, hitting my wheel on the curb, just getting me a little bit off balance and makes me a little later on the exit, giving him the better exit, obviously. This is one of my least favorite track. Actually, it's, how to say it, for me this track is love-hate relationship. At a lot of time it's very nice track, smooth flowing, and it's just real nice track to drive on, but a couple of corners, turn 1 and I think turn 7, just not my corners at all. So 6 and 7 especially, turn 1 and just not my corners. Now a lap later, going to serve my penalty, going through this. This is actually one of my least favorite corners, but somewhat doable. It's not as bad as 6 and 7, but going through on the outside again, he tries to throw it down the inside, and he does throw it down the inside, just barely outbrakes me, so I just decide to stick it back. Don't try to fight it too much, again you could lose so much time and gain so much penalties here. So I decided, take it easy and just follow him through the slipstream. So now following the same British driver on the slipstream, but this time much closer to him. Going with Timo, actually, very good defensive driver right behind us, all within the slipstream train. It's going to be very interesting to see, as the driver up ahead has no slipstream, so it's going to be me and Timo getting very, very close to him. And, putting on the extra speed, I decided to, brake early, try to not cause too much mayhem into turn 1, It's a long race, it's not really one of the short races, 10-minute race, it's a 40-minute race. So, I just take it easy on the brakes. Timo goes down the inside, and now he's following up the driver up ahead. So, again, I don't really want to fight too much, I'm just trying to get ahead as much as possible, so not trying to lose too much time fighting. So I'll let them fight, once they fight I can just through goes Hamilton, that's it, easy. Now into turn 4, I just go on the outside and inside of Timo on the British driver. Very interesting move, and I just have a very squared line, you can say, or a very alternative line compared to other drivers, which seems to work for me. But again, 6 and 7, not really my corners, but I managed to make it hang on the outside of, Timo. So now, chasing the British driver once again, with Timo trying to hang it around my outside, but it really doesn't work with him. So, yeah, he's not that far ahead. He's 1.4 seconds up ahead, but, it's not really easy to make 1.4 seconds in short duration. So, skipping forward 2 laps, and managed to cook the brakes again, very alternative line. And I tried to evade him by going down the inside, but that really did not work as anticipated. So it ends up with me shunting him out wide. He comments nice, and that quite messed me up. You can see, yeah, he comments here nice. I read it. I go back on track, and I've already messed up. So comments while racing are not really something. It's really so easy to lose your focus and make dumb mistakes like these. All it took was me just reading nice. I was like, ah, fuck. You know, just big mess up. Our pixel overtakes again, no biggie. We both of us just lost a bunch of positions there. And skipping immediately to the end of the first race, you know, 20-minute race is one of the shorter races. And would have been much better if I made it a little further up the, you know, a little further up the positions or up the grid for the next race, which is the main feature race. But it is what it is, P10 it is. Now, going on to the next race, we're gonna be pretty much jumping in immediately because, you know, a little recording mistake, and I only have only this bit of the recording, which pretty much no time for landslide, just goes on immediately. You can see me in P10, just trying to make as much position as possible, me and Dogs fighting it, and Alessandro has just joined. So now we have one more driver who started all the way at the end of the grid. He's not a slow driver, but looks like Pink Boy or Donks have spun. So it leaves me and Alessandro fighting with pretty much no competition behind. So now me and Alessandro are at the end of the pack, and I know Alessandro is a fast driver, so I just stay behind him. He's not really one of the slow drivers, he's pretty much best with the rest. We're pretty equally matched, if not for my inconsistencies a lot of the times. You know, I tried to hang it around the outside, you know, my alternative line. Worked pretty much perfectly because there was a spun driver, and if I took the inside, nah, not working. So hanging it around the outside of Timo, and then on the inside of Alessandro, very interesting move on this very interesting flowing corner, which you have to trail brake alt and ride the brakes through it all, and just making 3 positions in these 3 corners, just amazing stuff. Hanging it inside, outside, inside, just pretty much dominating all these drivers. Through goes Hamilton, which is why I used to be a very raw driver, fighting every single way, but now I'm more of a smart managing the car driver. You know, I develop more as a driver, obviously, and I just, instead of fighting it raw, I just manage the car way smarter than I used to. So this makes me just a more Lewis Hamilton-like driver compared to Max Verstappen, which, I mean, we haven't seen much of Max Verstappen fighting this year because, yeah, you know, another planet, complete other planet. And now you can see Timo almost rear-ended me, tried to throw it maybe around my outside. I don't know where he went deep on the brakes, tried to maybe overtake me, throw it around my outside, but I kept the inside nice and tight. Almost rear-ended me, but you know, it ended nicely. And on the straight, 3 cars all following each other. Me leading the pack, obviously. You know, they both got my slipstream, with Alessandro having the double slipstream. Being very interesting to see into turn 1. I will decide to maybe again be conservative, let them overtake, let them fight, and then overtake them again. So here you go. You can see Timo throws it down my inside, Alessandro also down my inside. But interestingly, Timo goes a little wide, and it's me and Alessandro side by side, wheel to wheel, just barely faster than me. Alessandro takes the lead of the pack. So I just stick behind him, and into the next corner, I just be very, very close behind. And just sticking behind him, he just takes a tiny bit faster. But into turn 5, you can see me just slightly outbraking him, but really doesn't work for me. This alternative line, Timo didn't really, Timo just got on the inside and just could not really make me take the perfect line, you know, very squared line. On this corner especially, I just take a very squared line, a very V-like line. I think they call it squared, I forget what they call it exactly. It's where you basically, you know, brake late, lose all your speed, be very, very slow, and then just turn when you're slow and just accelerate, throw it out of the corner. You know, this, you just minimize the time accelerating and not on the throttle or the brakes. And remember, if you're not on the brakes or the throttle, you're losing time. That's pretty much what I learned. So now down to P8, Alessandro just much faster driver than I am again. He's a real fast driver. You can see him just going up through the positions. He overtook our pixel and me serving my penalty. You see the Dutch driver behind getting very close. He tries to overtake. I try to hang it around the inside. I just try to outbrake him, but it seems like I cooked the brakes, hitting the wall, you know, getting a bit of suspension damage, light damage, which will fix itself. And you can see just Timo throwing himself on the outside of me. But, you know, I just, you know, conservatively take the position back, or not allow him to overtake, conservatively defend the position, and I get myself a 0.5 second penalty for crashing into the barrier. Unfair, but sometimes, actually all the time, this game is unfair, but it is what it is. This game really punishes drivers who just mess up or, you know, make slip-ups like I do. Now you can see Timo getting very close behind, up on the slipstream, and getting that extra speed now down my inside in the next corner, or actually just behind me. He's gonna force me to take the inside or outside. Actually, he's gonna be straight in the middle, making me not know what to do. And I decided, you know what, I'll just stay behind him. I can overtake him later on the straight. with a slipstream. So I just take the corner perfectly, just as good as he does it, and stay behind him, right behind him, going to turn 5, which is again my most favorite corner on the brakes, because again I just take it like a V alternative line. Nobody really takes this line for some reason, and I find a lot of pace in that line. You see me sending it down the inside, and just this time taking it normally, because again I was overtaking the driver, couldn't really take it how I want to, so I just take it normally. And going these two corners is like my least favorite. I feel like I could be way faster, but I'm just zero confidence through there, as Timo just goes through the wall, into the wall. And you can see now building a bit of a gap for the drivers behind. Timo getting back in the mix. Seems like I made a bit of a mistake, and they're getting very, very close. But again, they're not as fast as me, or at least they're fighting, so they aren't as fast as me. You're leading the pack through this, I don't know what they call this corner. It's just like uphill right-hander. It's a very interesting corner. There's literally no other corner like it, and it's very interesting on the brakes. Usually I have my brake balance on 2, but this corner just has a lot of downhill. I mean, this track just has a lot of downhill corners, so just, you know, switch it back to 1, didn't work, switch it back to, you know, 0. And now on 0, that's where it works for me, because on 2, I'd have like literally 0 rear grip on a lot of the downhill corners. You can see Timo pulling into the pit. Now it's me and Alexanti fighting. Me trying to keep the lead, you know, into P5. I decide, you know what, let him overtake. I can overtake him back. You know, smart, you know, chess player, smart movements. And it seems like Alexanti is a much faster driver than I am, which was pretty much a surprise. And I've realized he's on new tires. You know, new soft tires, and I'm on used medium, so really no chance of me catching him. So just, you know, chilling in P6 with a 1 second penalty serve, pulling into the pits with Bloody 9 straight behind me, which is a very fast driver. At least last season was a very fast driver. I think last season ended up P3 or 4, not really sure. But again, me and him are not differently paced. It's just that I'm very inconsistent compared to pretty much all other drivers. But bit by bit, I'm working on my consistency as the pit stop boys, you know, do nice work with the car, refuel it, and put in new tires, getting out on soft with pretty much enough fuel to last me the entire stint. Bloody 9 just goes up ahead of me for some reason. I don't know why. He came behind me, just had a faster pit stop. Maybe he just did not change the tires, but I'm sure he did. So he refueled less than me. So now pretty much me chasing Bloody 9 is going to be like that for the end of the race, and Bloody 9 just was that bit faster. You can see him just at the end of the sight, just at the end of the corner. You can see him just taking the corner maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds ahead of me. Really not much I can do about it. He's just faster than me on that occasion, which again, this is just not my track. Next track will be Brazil, Interlagos, which is literally one of my favorite tracks. I feel so confident over so many different types of cars. I know pretty much the ins and outs of this track. The only corner I lack in Interlagos is the final corner before the very last straight. So pretty much I nearly perfected Interlagos. So very excited to head into there. See you at Interlagos.